Hi-ho, Pimlico. Here we are for the fall meet here at the Pimlico Racecourse. I'm next to Keith Fusel. And Keith, I don't see a ton of tents back there. I'm used to seeing a ton of
No,
tents in the infield whenever I come here to Pimlico, but here we are for this fall meet. It's nice, crisp, cool, going to be about 80 degrees, and let's get ready for some Friday racing here.
a little bit different
Yeah.
than Preakness time. It's good to have a little change up in the schedule. I like that. We used to rotate tracks quite a bit back in the day. Um, but I tell you what, the vibe that I got from the entries for the first couple days here made me feel like it was Preakness
But
weekend with
same,
the field
yes.
sizes, the number of races. My goodness gracious, my head was spinning after
Head
getting
was
through these
spinning
cars.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Hopefully we can come up for once the weekend's over. I can come up for some air after on Sunday. But taking a look at the track really quickly, the track is fast and the turf is firm, mid 70s. That may kick up to 80 today, but hey, it's fall. This is the basic girl season. This is my time of year. So
Ah,
we're here for fall and
okay.
ready to get rolling. We're gonna have an awesome day of racing here. Regardless, and let's kick in to race number one. This maiden claiming a 25 scratch of the
hmm
6 Army Cadet. And Keith, both you and I land on the number 5. I once stood alone for Brian Brooks.
Yeah, this is a tricky little race. Nobody really going 6 furlongs. Who can get the 6 furlong distance? Who's going to get there first? I once stood alone, wheels right back in 6 days. The trainer Brian Brooks had a really good meet over at Timonium at the Big T. Comes back. This horse ran pretty quick. Was pretty game to the wire. I was comparing that final time, and it was equal to Maiden Claim in 40. Now fillies and mares older. So you know what? I once stood alone. Might be able to get the jump. Country Charlie jammed inside. We'll have to break alertly. I like the way this horse overcame a little trouble 3 races back and then had some trouble at the gate 2 races back. I just the horse that beat it last time. That was the other stablemate. That was the stablemate for Fair. It was just too good. But
Yep.
looks like one of these two, unless the firsters pop up. Buck Wild just hasn't shown a ton in 2 starts.
No, Buck Wild, just respectfully putting him on the card with the scratch of the 6 Army Cadet. But again,
hmm
it's basically a matter of fact of who's gonna got the better break, and is Country Charlie gonna be able to get a little bit of a better trip on the inside this time around? But as you said,
hmm
I Once Stood Alone, I thought that Timonium was a really big light bulb race for that horse. Really woke him up
hmm
last time out.
Okay.
Let's kick into race number 2, and before we do that, we got to have an early pick 4 that this guy next to me supplied. And Keith, let's take
hmm
in to this early pick 4. What do you got for me?
Getting back in the swing of things a little bit here. Here we go. $27 ticket, 3 deep to get you started with the 1, 2, and 6. Really like Bowie 2-step today. Race 3 with the 1, 2, and 7. 2 deep in the 4th with the 4 and the 5. Betcha by golly just needs to avoid a little traffic. I think she can get the job done for George Andreadakis. Race 5, 3 deep again with the 2, 3. And it's going to be a heavy favorite in there of Cash Rocket. I'm going to definitely use Imagine It All and the last sit back it up. I think they can upset this 2 is going to be an awfully short price in race 5.
A nice price
Okay.
for race 5. 27 total dollar a ticket. But let's kick in to race number 2. This claiming 16 never won 2, 6 furlongs here on the dirt, and we both land on heads or tails. Who probably is going to fare a little bit better back on the dirt this time out.
Yeah, it's kind of a chasing type. Has a okay tactical speed. I think we'll be forward enough against this group, so nobody's really guns a blazing here. But I go with Bowie 2-step, Callie. I like the way he ran 2 races back into Jerry's Gem, who was able to control it on a sloppy surface. Relished that surface that day, but did all the dirty work. Held on well. Came back a surprisingly good effort on the turf at 21-1, and nearly pulled that upset. I like the outside position. A little pop move. We have a stat here, if you want to give it here for Kenny Cox over the last 3 months. Do we have that stat? Can we do that? Or
Yep, we have that
I
stat.
appreciate that. Thanks, guys. 7 for 19. It's pretty good. 37%, 13 of 19 in the money. Look at that whopping ROI
Wow.
of 578. So, yeah, Bowie 2-step. Even if the 1 maybe wants to send out of there, I think he can prompt the pace and kind of grind it out from the quarter pole home.
I did. This horse was catching my attention. I
Hmm.
just was a bit cautious, but I'm glad that that $5.78 return on investment. And
Hmm.
here we're taking a look here at this
Yeah.
race for this. This was, I believe, two back
Yeah, this is
back
the
in
Jerry
July.
Chem
This is
race.
yep,
Hmm.
yep. So just sitting right off of that and making a nice go of it, and just really nice, a bit for maiden, for claiming 10, a bit of a professional go.
This was a good run. Jerry's Gem certainly was bred to like the off track and took to it this particular afternoon for Damon. But Bowie Two Step was able to kind of separate from the rest of the field, kept on going, and Jerry's Gem stepped up off of this effort, had a little trouble early at Timonium, but ran a pretty good fourth with a 56 buyer next time out. So Bowie Two-Step poised right back here, going from turf to dirt for Kenny Cox.
Exactly. Let's kick on to this first maiden special weight that we have. 8 mile and 16th here on the turf. And we land similarly, but let's take a look at your number 2, My Forever Friend, for Brittany Russell. Excuse me, you're on the 4. Sorry, I have Tim Tulloch's numbers on
Well, I
my
should be on
program
the
as
2.
well. So
Let's see.
no, you are on the 2. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep. Brittany Russell, first time out. I just waited cautiously. It's to me, it's always tough to go stretching out. It's ready to stretch out, but Brittany's numbers are a little bit soft in that first time on the turf.
Yeah, they're not great, but you might, we saw Brittany sneak away like 11-1 at Timonium
Sure.
with a firster. Now we're going to go first-time turf. Talked about it. Not a great angle, but I think this filly here she's bred to handle the grass. The mare was all turf, 1 for 8, 5 for 8 in the money. You go to the second dam, graded stakes winner, made 440. I think that was just a tightener down at Colonial on the main track.
Sure.
This is what they want. A lot of money, I think, is going to come in on Positive Message. Took a lot of money at Saratoga, led a long way, just couldn't handle the onslaught in mid-stretch. A little bit of fade. We'll try to control it again for motion, but I like My Forever Friend. Kind of a sneaky little price play here that you get with Brittany Russell. Definitely use the 1 and the 7. Sun B for motion, and Life, Love, and Laughter. They come out of the same race, August the 16th at Colonial. Both finished up well. Both had a little, adversity to overcome in that race. Life, Love, and Laughter, a little shuffle into the turn. I know Dave Rodman's on this. They both finished up well, kept on well through the gallop out, to me, indicating a little extra ground as well within that.
Exactly. I love that love. I don't have this, or I do have this horse underneath as well, with just having a little bit of that. And to be fair, with the Brittany Russell horse, going short didn't break quick. So this horse was probably meant to go long. I can see. Brittany tried to put a 3 furlong work in this horse on August 6th, and to me, she doesn't usually do that. To me, she was trying to indicate this horse trying to get that little speed interjected in this horse as well. So I can understand why a bit more confident in this spot, where she is sitting at 22% with her first time route. So that helps her out as well. And you also, Nuando with Fergal Lynch, I like that. I like the setup for this. Just clearly getting this horse. Getting that happy medium trip for this horse really is the biggest thing that I think the number 6 is going to get as well.
Key breeding note, too, for Sun B. I mean, going back, I was able to look over for Full to Spooky Channel, 11 for 25, multiple graded stakes type on the turf. Can handle a route of ground. Certainly see English Channel in the top end. Really like the way she just kept on going around the turn, through that gallop out at Colonial.
Yep, definitely. I like how Graham does. It's just Graham a lot of times will put these first time starters going long on the turf like he does like he did with his other horse, Positive Message. But I like how you put a horse short for the first time, even if it doesn't win. Like you said, good gallop out. That's where I really like Sunby in this particular spot here today. That was passed for race 3. Let's kick on to race number 4.
All
The
right.
starter allowance, 6 furlongs on the dirt. Before we kick into that, let's talk about for the race number 4, my pick 6 that we have going on when we start talking about race number 4, and just taking a quick look at that, if we can bring that up, guys. Really the biggest thing, I do have my best bet in race number 8 with the Brittany Russell horse, Dream Big Dreams, second coming off of the layoff. It both fits as a Brittany Russell barn trend and for the horse as an individual as well. And prior to that, we do have 2 turf races that I really enjoyed, and race number 7, especially race number 7 in that allowance, that mile here on the turf. But let's kick into, it's okay, guys, we can go ahead and kick into race
I'm
hits.
so confused.
It's okay. We can kick into race number 4
Here we
in
go.
this starter allowance,
All right.
6 furlongs on the dirt. We
Oh.
both, or actually, you land on the number 4, and let's go
Yeah.
ahead and kick away into that video with Betcha by Golly
All right.
for Georgia as your top selection, Keith, in this with this last time out for this filly. Ran into a little bit of an issue.
Barnes done a great job getting this filly to kind of change tactics. She was a little bit of kind of a headstrong horse in the past, and was a little bit this day too, stretching back out off of that 7 furlong starter allowance. Try behind Brevery, stakes winner at Timoni, but man, just keyed up right here. Came out of the gate, maybe just a little steps, just keen, pulling its way along. Just had to steady back off of rivals. Charming way, prepared to take off. Okay, little state-bred allowance race this particular afternoon. Even gets shuffled back even further. Finds herself 4 or 5 off the lead, Callie, by the time they turn for a home, but is able to recover. I like this little move from the top of the stretch, just past mid-stretch. A little flattening out late, but man, she had a lot to overcome from that opening quarter, opening 3/16 of a mile.
I almost wish she was a little bit further back.
Yep.
She was just so keen. She was right there. That's not where she needs to be placed. As this is a filly who has tried. They've tried. Previous barns have tried to send this filly up near the lead, but I love how Georgia just has been able to take this filly back, and she's also running right out of her stall, which I really do like. I love that how she opted not to run this filly over at Timonium. That was the biggest thing. But really just putting a little bit of a red line through that race as well, even though she did overcome a little bit nicely. But then I go with the outside, the number 6, Dat Dares Gold for Kieran McGee. This horse coming from Timonium in probably a bit of a swinging fashion. Again, this is another horse that's not quite versatile, but has the advantage of being in McGee's barn. I just obviously ran too short last time
See
out.
some of these horses coming off the halves at Timonium. You're right. They show tactical speed here, and they just, it's kind of just a frantic kind of a pace there.
Yes.
They go on those 4 furlong races. She'll have a chance to relax, catch her breath a little bit, and bring a little bit more finish. Certainly, yeah, McGee capable second time off the claim. She'll be able to kind of stalk the speed. I think Volney will try to go ahead and try to steal this on the front end, drop to the inside. And we saw back in the spring when we started this meet, Pimlico, you always think speed, rail, gone. Well, that was kind of the tendency the first couple days of the meet going back when it was in April. So kind of pay attention early to these dirt races if there's any trend.
Well, again, this horse has proven to like Pimlico as well, and like you just mentioned, has a little bit of versatility. Was too long last time out at the 7. Was under the 6.5 at Timonium, but opted to scratch, and I love that move to rather just come back here. I think Volney is going to be really your nice speed of this race. But before we get into race number 5, we have a commercial, and we will be right back.
And here comes Point of Entry.
Point of Entry's taking the lead.
Point of Entry wins.
Placou Parfait is finishing hard along the inside. Placou Parfait takes out the Derby.
And we're back here to finish up the rest of the card here for the first day of the fall meet here at Pimlico, with this maiden claiming 30 a mile here on the turf. And let's kick into your top selection, which I also have underneath for Suzanne Satinius. The last skip, blinkers off this time, and Kevin Gomez taking a swing on this gelding today.
Yeah, I like the mile distance. I'm going to toss the last at Colonial.
Sure.
Blinkers off, a little barn change. Suzanne Satanius, that barn owes us no money. We thanked her time and time again. 2-back race was really good, making that move. Just a little flattening late against General's Duty and the such. You got to look for a little bit of value. You've got a questionable horse in Cash Rocket. It has a 247-day layoff on the page, another 175-day layoff on the page. Yeah, the numbers kind of tower, and you're seeing that. This horse looks like he's going to go find a new home today, you would think. But I think last sip in smaller field will be able to get position. Needs to maybe be covered up a little bit. has a tendency to flatten. But if this horse can stay covered to maybe the quarter pole and then unleash the fury, I think it'll work. Imagine It All. I liked this horse at Timonium last time. Just had a little issue out of the gate. Got off a little funky. Stays with it. First blinkers on the turf will be a forward factor. I like the stalk and pounce kind of trip for the 3.
I agree. I love that as well. And of course, you do have Dale Capuano, who's 29% with that second time on the route. And when Mike Merriman had this horse, thought about entering this horse twice going long. That was back in late May and then early July, but we're just off of turf scratches or steward scratches. So prior, and then finally tries at the going long where Dale nabs this horse, then brings this horse to Timonium where this horse doesn't clearly belong. So back in a lot of right spots for Imagine It All. But let's kick in to race number 6. This starter optional 30, a mile and an eighth here on the dirt. Excuse me for a sec. We are also going into your top selection and my top selection, which is the same Walk Away Joe for Dale Capuano. Rui back in the saddle again. This is definitely not your pace, but the biggest thing that's this horse as an individual again. This is a kind of a theme for a day with my selections. That this horse matches with the trainer barn trend of 3 after the layoff, which Cap is hitting at 35% or 32% as of lately, but about 70% in the money. Again, I go off of barn trends, which is usually in the percentages that I get from the information that I get are typically through the last 100 starts with those samplings. But again, this fits for this horse as well. If you go back in April, back to that April start at April of last year at Pimlico, that was off of the layoff, and then 2 starts later, this horse gets a nice win, and he's ready and prime in that position as well for Walk Away Joe.
Yeah, I like Walk Away Joe in here. You might catch a little bit of value with this guy. You're talking a third off the break, and I even went a little further back, Callie. I mean, it's a between 180 and 365-day break. Dale, 3 for 8, 38%, 5 for 8 in the money. I think he's raced himself back into shape. He likes Pimlico. He has some positional speed. Caribbean may try to run away and hide like he did 2 races back. I think Walk Away Joe will be poised to kind of get into position by the time they hit the top of the stretch. And a horse like who got a great ride last time, Fortune's Fool, might have to move a little earlier to keep Caribbean honest up top.
Sure.
So I like for the 3 to draft in that position. Thundershook a little deeper closer. He used to have a little bit more tactical speed. He's come from a little further back. 3-1 for me in here.
Yeah, 3-1. I go 3-6.
Okay.
I think Fortune's Fool is just a lot of Lacey's horses are a bit on the upswing right now, and overall, this is just a field that has several horses in here that are on the upswing. And I think what both of us have caught, Caribbean probably is not one of those horses on the upswing today. But let's kick into race number 7 with this nice allowance, a mile here on the turf. And Keith, you land on the number 3. Kobe Tough. Kobe Tough for Tim Keith, Sheldon Russell. I like this. Give it to me because I like the horse as an individual, but the going long after that nice it was still a nice performance at Colonial last time out. Didn't get the trip. The gallop out didn't overly impress me. So it convinced me.
Some former jockeys have told me, sometimes you can fool a horse into going long that first time. Kobe Tough has not disgraced himself. He ran a big effort. We liked him. First time gelding back in July, got the lead, was opened up and just kind of ran away and then just was able to survive late. Closing up against some really good horses. Saratoga Colonial, tougher races. Bottom side, there is route there. There's nobody. I don't think anybody in this field really kind of presses him. I think he's going to get a chance to relax. Yes, when they hit the 3/16 pole, I hope he's got a little left in the tank when the jock lets this guy out. So we'll see if he can get nursed along. This is a very tough race. Tough state bred. Other than a little race, look at Aliferous. Do we have a video for Aliferous?
We do. We should be having a video for Aliferous.
Stephen Kyle, there's another horse located right here at Pimlico that certainly merits a really strong look. This horse is scored at prices of 55 to 1 and 30 to 1. But it's had a very good trip this particular day. Is able to kind of work through a seam for Yomar Ortiz and is dead gritty to the wire. It's going to kind of get right up in between horses. Gonzalez is back in here, and this guy just keeps on going. Tate, really game as well, but It's a pretty visually strong first turf effort. These horses all kind of key up against each other. He's not far off. He's going to slip away at a little price again, and I think he can move into contention by the time they hit the top of the stretch.
That's a great go. That's a great go at a price of 10-1. Absolutely, especially with that effort in the field that he was against. Again, this is a very competitive field among as far as being within each other that I think is going to give a nice go. I go with Benny Havens, who is my price play of the day. This horse finally, this horse had a bit of a rough campaign in 2021. 2022 has served him a little bit better. He's finding his stride, getting some confidence. Xavier tried to go for a little bit of a rail move last out, and the horse I don't think was just really that into it. And then once he finally in the 16th inside got this horse into a bit of a position, then he finally started running, but it was a little bit too late. So simply, I think they just learned something about the horse last time out that I think is going to serve them for this race here today.
I've been chasing Benny Havens. He was a value play 3 races back, 16-1. Got reunited with the X-Man. He's worked out some trips. Again, that last 16th has been a struggle to follow through. Power back, his main kind of rival here. This is another one. Might get first run on my top selection stock. He's held very good form here for Robin Graham. Consultant, another one as well, out of the Olifris race. Had maybe a tougher trip. Caught 4 wide, a little contact around the first turn, moved into that quick pace. Wasn't quite good enough first off the claim. Could be dangerous as well.
I like that as well. He and a bit of a mid move last time out as well. He was kind of dragging Victor around, so a lot of just a bit of a, like you said, a bit of a rough trip. But let's kick on to race number 8. This allowance here, 8.5 here on the dirt. This is where I have my best bet, but you have a video spotlight on the horse that I have underneath, 7 on the rocks for Billy Campbell, stretching out with Yomar Ortiz. This is an interesting choice of stretching this horse out.
It's like this is Yomar Day for videos,
yeah.
right? I tell you, he's an underrated rider.
Very.
He kind of works out some trips, and again, very patient here, is able to kind of work through a gap, gets the job done in a real gritty effort on June the 10th. Big Tall Dog, Magic Mule. Those are
Right in
some
between
fast.
horses.
Yeah,
Look at that.
These are some fast horses, and look, just steadily handridden. He doesn't try to do too much. Tenacious to the wire. There's a little bit of speed in here. He's got to look in the rearview mirror. Dream Big Dreams, Welling, I think they're going to be the main closers. I think he's got a chance to make a sharp middle move. And again, stretching out, have a chance to survive late with Yomar. He's going to have to time that run maybe around the 3/8 pole. Separate, but he's game. When you hook him, he's going to fight you.
He will fight, and he will fight. It's just I'm looking at a bit of the breed. The mother was a sprinter. The half sibling bad temper did win here at this distance, but it was for the 10K. But hey, the distance is the distance, so that's really the only reason I had this horse underneath. I just think it's such an intriguing horse, and I can't wait to see him run and see how he does handle this 2-turn distance. And then of course we both switch off between the 1 and the 2. You have Badger Tooth, where Robbie Bales first after the layoff, short sampling, but recently 25% with that first off of the layoff, and he put a nice bottom on this horse coming back from that nice January win.
Certainly capable to get a distance. He's going to have to run faster, no doubt about that. Working well into this. This is a major step up for Badger Tooth. Dream Big Dreams. Just no run last time, 2-1. Slight move inside, flattened out. We're going to go report it first time. Gelding was against the grain that race on the 5th. Welling another one. I just think back to Pimlico is going to work for him. Trains over this racetrack, capable of a high 70, 80 kind of number. His chance to pop might be today. Another one. He ran well 2 races back, August the 5th against the grain.
August 5th against the grain with Welling, and let's kick into our nightcap of the day, the starter optional 16. Short on the turf, 5 on the turf for the girls. You land on the number 6, Tiz Suzanne, and 4, Anthony Ferrier Toledo on top. I have this horse underneath in my selections as well. There's a lot to like about this horse, especially if you go and you take a closer look back on that 19th of July effort, short on the turf.
Back to maybe what's her favorite surface right now at the present time. Very patiently handled on June the 19th. Closed in too late behind a key horse in Afandi. Afandi was able, this horse in a roll, Afandi, beat Willow Moon, who probably could be favored in here, I think, for Joan Reynolds. Has plenty of speed, gets, a little assist with scratch of the 4. Little Miss Scarlet, Hello Grace. But Willow Moon is going to maybe have to deal with Always Something, who had, a pass 3 races back, unprepared, broke in the air on the turf. 3 races back. Last time out was got in front of some really speedy horses at Timonium. I didn't expect to see her on the lead. She got it. She breaks Willow Moon. They might tangle up, setting it up for horses like the 6 and the 3.
And I feel, and with the way that race sets up, which is why I have the 6 underneath. I think there's a lot. There's a bit more speed that's going to be coming out, and I think we're going to see a little bit of a late closer, which is exactly where the Farrier horse comes in. But let's kick into lightning round for this first day here at Pimlico for the fall meet. Well, Toledo's not slowing down at all, having tied for the leading rider title in the Laurel Summer. He takes it right over to Colonial and nabs that title over at Timonium. 25 wins. Reyes had 18 wins, but he was the only $1 million earner for that meet. This past summer. 25 wins, 20 seconds, 20 thirds. Just a stunning career that Toledo is still blazing at. But we do also want to highlight where we get some wins. We also have some losses where we do come to Imagining. Sire Imagining did lose his life at age of 14. Had a bit of a colic bout, but a nice Grade 1 winning millionaire with a son of Giants Causeway. He was out of an AP Indy multiple grade stakes winning daughter Daydreaming. From 4 crops of racing age, Imagining has sired 50 winners to date and the earners of nearly $3.8 million. He currently ranks 8th in the list of leading Maryland sires in 2022, and his most successful offspring is Monday Morning QB, winner of the 2020 Maryland Million Classic. As a 3-year-old, 11 of his progeny are earners of more than $100,000. He has 31 2-year-olds in his current crop this year.
Some horses that could go long, short, versatile, turf, dirt. Not a lot of them won early. Took up a few races usually to get going. Once they got going, they kind of would move their way up. But you're talking about Monday Morning Quarterback, proper attire,
yes.
A horse we've seen around here plenty of times, very fast. You hate to see this part of the game and losing a stallion too soon.
Too soon. Let's move on to our stakes action that we have going on tomorrow. We've got the Light the Fuse, the Shine Again, the Baltimore-Washington International Turf Cup up to Grade 3 status, which I'm so excited, and of course the all-along listed stakes for the girls going long too. I'm really excited for a lot of just competitive fields that we have for tomorrow. The BWI Turf Cup, it took me a while to get through that race as far as handicapping goes. Very competitive field.
Yeah, very good card. If you got a chance, come out and join us. If not, fire up the first bet account. I got set piece, 2-1, 9-5 in the BWI, coming off a race, a good win in a dinner party, unleashed a big run that day, Preakness weekend. So looking forward to that stakes card tomorrow.
Looking forward to the stakes card, but also looking forward to your best bet and value play that you have going on today. Bet you by golly for your best bet in race number 4.
Yeah, stay with the home team here. Georgia Andrea Dacus, she's got this horse in very good form. I think can just rate within range and go by through the stretch. A little value play. We talked about this one. I think I've got this horse picked second. We're going to go to the 7th race, right? That's the Kobe Tough on top. But Elifris, this horse has paid boxcars every time. Won that turf debut. Certainly has a little shot to pull another upset this afternoon in an evenly matched field.
Let's see if we can get a couple of prices today here for the Friday racing. Let's switch over to Dave Rodman for changes and scratches.